Good afternoon. I'm Governor Josh Shapiro, and this morning, according to first responders here in Philadelphia and the Pennsylvania State Police, at approximately 6:20 a.m., a vehicle fire underneath I-95 behind me here caused a portion of the highway above to collapse. At least one vehicle is still trapped underneath the collapsed roadway. Preliminary reports indicate that a commercial truck carrying a petroleum-based product was the source of the fire. We're still working to identify any individual or individuals who may have been caught in the fire and the collapse. I was first briefed on this situation early this morning by my Chief of Staff, Dana Fritz, then by Pennsylvania Secretary of Transportation Mike Carroll, who you'll hear from in a moment, along with Pennsylvania State Police Commissioner Christopher Paris and the PEMA Director, Randy Padfield. All three join me here today, and we've received regular updates throughout the day. Since the crash occurred this morning, the state police have been on the scene, assisting the Philadelphia police under the leadership of Commissioner Outlaw in diverting traffic off of I-95. PEMA has been on site, coordinating the response efforts with our local and our federal partners. Since this morning, PennDOT personnel and Secretary Carroll himself have been on site inspecting the roadway. Finally, DEP, the Department of Environmental Protection, under the leadership of Acting Secretary Nagrin, has been coordinating with the United States Coast Guard and the Philadelphia Water Department to conduct environmental assessments. While this is still very much an active scene, I just completed an aerial view of the site and received a briefing from law enforcement, first responders, and transportation experts on the ground, together with Mayor Kenney. As has been reported, the northbound side of I-95 has completely collapsed, and the southbound side is not structurally sound to carry any traffic over it. In response, PennDOT, the City of Philadelphia, and SEPTA, under leadership of Leslie Richards, who joins us today, have created detours and are working on further alternative methods to ensure folks can safely get to where they need to go. We're also looking at interim solutions to connect both sides of I-95 to get traffic through the area. With regards to the complete rebuild of I-95 roadway, we expect that to take some number of months. We expect it to take that time, and we will have that specific timeline set forth once the engineers in PennDOT have completed their review. To expedite this process and to cut through the red tape, tomorrow morning I plan to issue a disaster declaration, allowing the Commonwealth to immediately draw down federal funds and move quickly to repair and reconstruct this roadway. I've spoken directly to Secretary Pete Buttigieg of the United States Department of Transportation, along with Senator Casey, Congressman Boyle, and other federal officials. My Chief of Staff has spoken directly to White House officials. All of our federal partners have pledged a complete and total support and assistance as we create alternative routes and as we rebuild I-95. Secretary Buttigieg has assured me that there will be absolutely no delay in getting federal funds deployed to quickly help us rebuild this critical artery. I-95, of course, is a critical roadway that supports our economy and plays an important role in folks' everyday lives. Our administration, together with the Kenney administration and all of our partners, are all hands on deck to repair this safely and as efficiently as possible. For those who need up-to-date information on detours, my administration has just set up a website, pa.gov/I-95 updates. You can go there for regular information. I want to thank our local, state, and federal partners, as well as our partners in New Jersey and Delaware, who, together with our law enforcement and first responders and community leaders, are all working together constructively and methodically to address this disaster. And with that, I'm going to introduce Mayor Kenney, followed by several other speakers, then I'll return to the podium for any questions that you may have. Mayor Kenney.
Thank you, Governor. Thank you, Governor, and thank you all for joining us for this update. As was just discussed this morning, a large fire under I-95 near the Cottman Avenue exit caused a portion of the highway to collapse. Right now, the fire is under control. Both city and state agencies are responding to address impacts to to residents in the area and travelers affected by road closures and detours. At this time, we are advising residents to please avoid the area and plan for alternative routes of travel. In addition to road closures, we expect delays of trash collection and SEPTA bus routes in the area. We are not aware of any injuries or fatalities at this time, but we understand the situation remains fluid. I am grateful to our first responders for the dangerous, life-saving work that they do to keep residents and visitors safe. This is really where teamwork and quick thinking come into play, and I want to thank the Philadelphia Fire Department, the Philadelphia Police Department, the Office of Emergency Management, and other city, state, and local partners for your continued response to this incident, including Pennsylvania State Police and PEMA. I also want to thank Governor Shapiro for being here with us for his support. Coordination between state and city agencies has been and will continue to be essential to our emergency response efforts. Additionally, repairing the damage caused by this incident in a timely manner will require a strong, coordinated effort between city, state, and federal agencies. And again, I want to I had the opportunity this morning to speak with Secretary Buttigieg, who is closely monitoring the situation, and we appreciate the federal government's offer to support recovery and reconstruction. Also received calls from Senator Casey, Congressman Boyle on this issue. We will continue to provide updates to residents and visitors as they become available. I want to thank everyone for being here, and thanks for all their courageous efforts to respond to this. Now I'd like to call on Deputy Commissioner Thompson of the Philadelphia Fire Department for the Fire Department's update.
Thank you, Mayor Kenny. As the mayor stated, the fire is under control, but the fire department continues to remain on scene just to make sure, as a precautionary measure, because of the large volume of product that was involved, we want to make sure that if the fire it restarts, that we are there to quickly respond and take care of that. So we do have resources. We have 2 engine companies as well as a medic unit on scene as precaution. In addition to that, we have the fire marshal's office and his staff. They are here to investigate, as we do with all fires. And we will continue to be here until this situation is fully mitigated. I'd like to thank all of our partners, the Philadelphia Police Department, PGW, the Water Department, for all of their assistance in helping to mitigate this disaster. Thank you. With that, I'd like to bring up Secretary Carroll.
Commissioner, thank you. Good afternoon. The I-95 segment behind us carries roughly 160,000 vehicles per day. A very, very heavily traveled interstate, likely the busiest interstate in our Commonwealth. I would like to thank Governor Shapiro and the mayor for their wonderful leadership in directing and ensuring the speedy response to this catastrophe. PennDOT and our partners were on scene immediately, engaged a contractor that was nearby, and had equipment on scene within hours of the accident. We will continue that effort over the next 24 hours through the night to make sure that we have the collapsed section removed as speedily as possible, and then advance efforts with respect to the replacement and repair going forward. It is our goal to be as quick in our response and our remediation of the challenges as we can. As was mentioned, there's a website that will direct folks to information on detours, and I encourage folks to look at those opportunities and information. The challenges will be real when it comes to traffic movements in the city as a result of this incident, but working with our partners in the Philadelphia Police Department and others, I'm confident that we will get past this in a way that recognizes the challenges before us. So I will now turn it over to Leslie Richards from SEPTA for commentary related to transit movements in the city. Leslie.
Thank you, Secretary Carroll. Thank you, everyone. This is an emergency that has created a tremendous challenge for our transportation network. We're evaluating all options to enhance service for those who are impacted. We're close to finalizing details of an immediate service plan for the next 24 to 48 hours. Then we'll continue to adjust with what we are seeing. Here's some adjustments that we have finalized for tomorrow morning. We're adding capacity on the Trenton, West Trenton, and Fox Chase lines. That means additional cars on scheduled trains. We're going to bus the Kinwood line so that we can repurpose equipment and personnel and get them over to the Trenton line. Thanks to our partners at the Philadelphia Parking Authority, There will be free parking at their 3 park and ride lots, at Fern Rock, at Fox Chase, and at Torresdale. There's also free parking at all SEPTA-owned regional rail lots, as well as at the Frankfurt Transportation Center for access to the Market Frankfurt line. For those who have not taken regional rail in a while, we also want to note that you can use a credit card to pay your fare on board, and your conductor will help you with that. SEPTA will utilize all resources it has available to help you get through this. We're working closely with the unions and their leadership that represent our frontline workers to bolster staffing. We know there's going to be needs that come up as the days go on, and we're working to have additional personnel ready to help us respond. I also want to note that on all of our services, we have capacity. We are still below pre-COVID ridership, and we hope people will consider all the options that we have available for them. We are all going to need some extra patience in the coming days. Please work with us as we work through this, especially tomorrow morning. We ask employers to be as flexible as they can with their workforces. It's going to take longer than normal to get to work tomorrow. Please continue to check our website, septa.org, and our Twitter account, which will be updated on a regular basis. We're also opening up our customer service call center early tomorrow morning, and representatives will be available by phone starting at 6 a.m. You can call 215-580-7800, and we're here to help. Thank you so much, and thanks, Governor Shapiro, for being here.
Thank you. I hope it's clear to everyone here that every agency, local, state, and federal, are working together to address this. I also want to thank several of our elected officials who are here with us from City Council as well as from the State Assembly. With that, while this is obviously a fluid situation, we'll do our best to answer any questions that you have.
Governor, based on what you've seen in your briefing, is there anything that indicates this could have been intentionally set? And in your conversation with the Secretary of Transportation, is there a cost yet associated with the damage to this section of the overpass on 95?
This is an ongoing investigation, so I'm not going to comment on the first part of your question. On the second part of your question, the Secretary of Transportation, Pete Buttigieg, has made it clear that whatever resources would be needed to rebuild I-95 and to do so in a safe and expeditious manner would be provided to us.
Governor, from what you saw from flying over the highway, just kind of give us your thoughts on exactly just seeing the scene of that collapsed highway and the potential catastrophe that could have been avoided if it had been a different day of the week.
Just, I mean, remarkable devastation. And I found myself, thanking the Lord that no motorists who were on I-95 were injured or died. Just a remarkably devastating sight, one that our first responders, law enforcement, and others contained very, very quickly. They got people out of harm's way. And now, under leadership of Secretary Carroll and others, the hard work of clearing the site and rebuilding it will be underway, and we're going to move as quickly as possible.
Governor, can you tell us a little bit about the environmental impact here? Because the Coast Guard said that there may have been, over 8,000 gallons of gasoline that may have been exposed to this area.
I'm going to defer to, I think it's the fire department behind us here, but I can tell you our acting secretary of DEP was on top of it together with the Coast Guard and others. There was a very, very slight sheen in the sort of entry area of the waterway. It was contained with booms that were put up. There's no threat to anyone's drinking water and no threat to the water. Anybody want to add anything?
This is a heavily traveled interstate.
Let me ask the mayor to add on that, and then I'll come over here. Go ahead, Mayor.
I'm sorry. That's all right. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Brendan Riley. I'm the Director of Water Operations for the Philadelphia Water Department. Currently, at this point in time, we have no concerns of any environmental impact to our water intakes at the Baxter Water Treatment Plant. There was a lot of coordination with the Department of Environmental Protection, the U.S. Coast Guard, as well as PennDOT to make sure that we responded appropriately and deploy some booms not only at our intakes, but also at the outfall location where there was any potential discharge.
Thank you. Yes.
Governor, we're talking about a major interstate here with wide-ranging impact. What solutions are we looking at beyond just
Again, number one, detours. Number two, added capacity on SEPTA. You heard Leslie Richards speak to that before. We're then going to look at other alternatives to connect the roadway beyond detours as a temporary measure, and then working together with our federal partners, thanks to their assurance that those resources will come once I sign that disaster declaration tomorrow, a speedy rebuild of I-95.
Governor, you mentioned that the truck was carrying a petroleum product. Do you know how much, and do you know who this, was it a tanker, who did it belong to?
Really can't offer any more than just it was a petroleum product. As soon as we're able to confirm more than that, we will. Yes, in the back.
Could you name the tanker company and if they're going to be held responsible for cleanup and
It's not something I can offer at this time. Yes.
You mentioned individuals who possibly trapped still in this vehicle, so it's possible there's someone still with that vehicle.
That is possible. It's an ongoing investigation. I really can't comment beyond that. I think we'll have updates on that hopefully shortly. Yes. Anything from the media? Yes.
There has been criticism in the past about, various bridges and roads and the issues with infrastructure here in the country. How confident are you that you are going to get the funding that is required to get I-95 back up and running?
Secretary Buttigieg made clear we will have the resources we need. Senator Casey is prepared to do whatever is necessary, Congressman Boyle and others. I'm confident, I know the mayor is confident, we will have the resources we need to get this done.
Governor, just for clarity, you mentioned there was a vehicle still down there. Is that the tanker or is that a different vehicle from what it was?
It is not a different vehicle.
Last question.
Would you give any expectation of how many tons this particular section of 95 is? I mean, are we talking 1,000 tons?
Secretary Carroll, do you have anything you can add on that? I'm going to give you a precise answer.
Understand the question? You want to know how many tons the bridge weighs?
Earlier, the fire said about 1,000 tons of concrete and rubble descended on this part of the overpass. Do we have a better number or figure how much this section is comprised of that's basically now on the street here?
Can I get that back to you in a matter of minutes? I'll check with the engineers and get you a precise number. I don't want to put a number out there that's inaccurate.
Again, pa.gov/I-95 updates, and we'll do our best to keep you all updated as additional information is available. Thank you all very much.